Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome in. Let's get things up and running. You are right. I was partly not planning a stream today, but I managed to get quite a few bits and pieces done yesterday. And luckily, the puppy, wherever she be, she's over by the door. The puppy's chilling right now. So I thought, why not? Why not? Why not indeed? Let's get a few things up and running. I hope everybody had a good weekend. We are back on Monday. And it's going to be the start of busyness, I think, this week. We got Alpha launching later on in the week. I can confirm I do not have an invite yet. Meaning I'm getting a little bit itchy, a little bit antsy. Because I would expect the expectation would be that he or she who be invited for week 1 would get the email and get the count flags so that they can pre-download would be my assumption, but we'll see. Maybe it's just gonna have to be a wait until the day kind of thing. Blizzard leaving me on tenterhooks, clearly. But let's get some Patreon orders done first thing this morning. We are never going to complete these professions unless we keep up with the Patreon orders. And to be brutally honest, in-game, I haven't really got much of anything planned for, like, in-game, to be honest. I've basically completed Brewfest. I've basically completed Brewfest. I think I need like one item. Yeah, I need Brewer's Blue Shoulder Cape. I need to do the world event one last time. That's the last thing I need from Brewfest. Got the mount the other day, which was very nice. Very nice. So Brewfest is finito for another year. Might not be a terrible time to try and actually finish some of the professions. I've been sort of chipping away at these periodically for a while now. Unironically, getting my Herba Minor leveled and caught up might also not be a terrible idea. Or there will be some need for that when housing turns up, I am sure. Even skinning. As much as I don't care for skinning, honestly, most of the time, skinning leathers could potentially be useful. I don't know. Am I ever going to just not buy materials off the auction house? I don't know. Team's meeting in 6 and I clicked restart on a 24H2 update. Let's see if that was a good idea. Let's hope it takes less than 6 minutes to do it. Survived the bachelor party. Don't want to leave my house for at least a month. Oh yeah, you said you were on a bachelor party over the weekend. They how'd it go? How'd it go? They're always fun. They're fun. They're fun while you're doing it. They're tragic for the next 3 days though. I think the only time in history I've had a 3-day hangover was last time I had a stag do. When you end up drinking your body weight in alcohol over the space of 48 hours, it gets messy real fast. It was fun, but I'm getting old for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yup. How we doing, Goldson? Welcome in. Oh. Nips are doing some shakes for the puppy cam. Wiping her nose on the floor, apparently. Sounds like a standard midsummer. True. Midsummers can get messy. When you clean the sauna after midsummer and you're just like taking beer cans and vodka bottles out of it. It's like, oh boy. That's a bright orange jumper. Yeah, this is actually my sidemen merch, but it's accidentally become one of my favorite hoodies because it's really cozy, which is something I never expected when buying merch off a group of content creators, but apparently so. Yeah, it is very bright. Very bright. Do I have merch? No, I've never done the merch thing. I feel as if I'm not your standard content creator. I don't think I ever have been the standard content creator. Would love a coffee mug. Yeah, see, coffee mugs are very on brand as well, but I would want to I have this thing about if I'm going to do it, I want to do it properly. And I tend to find that an awful lot of merch ends up just being flipping some reprint knockoff China bullshit. Which I never think is really of any value to anybody. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to pass down 30%. Oh, no. Probably 6.5 minutes. Probably 6.5 minutes. Before I buy anybody's merch, I need to move first on a mission to purge stuff. Do have the satisfactory bundle from Kickstarter coming. Oh, do you? Okay. Oh, that's cool. You actually make profit from crafting currently? Not really, is the honest truth. There's very profit is I'm doing my Patreon orders right now simply to just get the professions finished, because believe it or not, even I have still not finished them. Profit from crafting is a bit of a oxymoron right now. There's a very short list of things that you might be able to do to make any profit from crafting, but most of them are going to require you to have already set something up and already covered the costs of setting it up. I've had to have this conversation a lot recently, of that if you are literally starting crafting professions right now, just don't. Sure, there will be some content creators out there that will try and tell you that, oh, you can do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that, but the reality is that the chances of seeing any profit out the back of it after you've recuperated any costs of setting something up is so slim right now. It doesn't feel very honest to suggest people do it. I would rather give people the realistic answer rather than a glasses 3/4 full answer that may lead you to actually end up losing gold. Your best bet right now is to learn and practice and prepare for midnight. The learn aspect is just make sure that you have a good understanding of how the professions are looking like working. If you haven't played Dragonflight or The War Within from a profession point of view, then you got some catch up to do in terms of like figuring out how the systems work and things. So you can spend a bit of time learning, but I certainly wouldn't sort of try and drive for min-max professions, because A, there's just not time, and B, there's not really value in doing it. Like I said, there's a very short list of options. You can maybe, if you're lucky, you can maybe, if you're lucky, get some concentration crafts done. But like I said, anything other than maybe enchanting the cost of getting the profession set up to be able to use concentration profitably is going to take you a while to recuperate that cost. And every day that goes past, there is less and less people wanting to buy things as we like wrap up this expansion now. So my general recommendation with crafting is, if you haven't started, don't bother. Keep your eyes open. We'll be exploring the alpha soon. We'll be exploring the beta soon after. We'll be figuring everything out. You can spend some time leveling characters and stuff now, because every expansion seems to have some value in having just lots of characters at your disposal. So that's the way I'd recommend players go. If you genuinely feel like you must be doing something. Well, that's cool. I am 5 points away from having alchemy finished now. Much longer grind on the engineering front. Yeah, much longer grind on the engineering front. 30, 60, plus whatever's needed in here. 30, 60, 73 still for engineering. Yuck. I never enjoy engineering. That said, I really should use this opportunity to get some solid data on pilfering. But I just haven't got around to it. I'm hoping housing brings some crafting opportunities. It will bring something. Never in the history of ever has new stuff been added that hasn't been profitable, at least for a short period of time. The question is just what and how long. The biggest question for me with housing is how restricted are the crafts going to be? And then where do we sell them? Those two questions, really. If the recipes are hard to get, getting the hard recipes will provide value short term, but there will ultimately be a point where people get the recipes anyway. Secondly, where are we going to sell the items? Are they going to be sold on individual auction houses, or are they going to be sold on the region-wide auction house? If it's the latter, expect the profits to be very skinny very quickly. But profit will also probably depend on how and when you have acquired your materials to craft said items. There will be lots of profit in it for those people who squirrel away a bunch of materials ahead of time. Now, the argument there is that the crafting of the items might not be adding the value. You might just be using that as a vessel to shift materials. If crafting doesn't add value, then you have to remember that that profit hasn't come from you crafting, because you could also just resell the materials. Which, like I said, is going to be a short-term thing. If they're on the region-wide, profit might be a lot more lucrative for a lot longer if they're sold on the individual servers, but we'll see. But yeah, how do we get the recipes? How do we get the recipes, and then where do we sell the crafted goods? Are the two big questions for me. We sort of know that there's this material, there's a lumber material that's going to be used. There might be some variations to this though. Lumber might just be one of the materials needed in the crafting recipes. There could be some more. As I said, we surprisingly know very little about housing. Surprisingly know very little. Because even the content creators that will have seen it firsthand have only seen the finished product kind of thing. We're more interested in the economy that goes with decor than anything else. That's where goblins have the opportunity to make some coin. Recently did the weaponsmithing reborn achievement just in case I needed to craft some decor items. Time gated that one. As they did say, achievements will play a part in decor items in housing. Yeah, I am convinced the profession achievements are going to be retrofitted with decor recipes. And I'm going to kick myself for not doing anything ahead of time to get those done. That said, we could get onto that now. But it's, yeah, one step at a time. First step is to actually get the professions leveled. Then we can go about seeing if there's any reason to be putting in more effort. It's difficult for me because I know that within a matter of minutes we're going to basically turn off retail. Other than me maybe... I'll tell you what, I'm going to find it difficult to even get my daily basics done in retail once we've got the alpha and remix. And then we'll roll into flipping housing, no doubt. And then we'll roll into the beta. It's going to be really difficult to focus any time at all on retail. Do you think they'll put housing recipes on old expansion professions? Oh, that's not even up for question. We already know they are. That's kind of the whole point. That this is why everybody's leveling the old professions. They've actively told us that they are and that they're going. We should be leveling up our old expansion professions if we want to take advantage of it. They've already told us that they are. If the tailoring shirt achievement is a requirement for housing crafting, that's a 2.5 million shirt pattern. yeah. There's a few big expensive ones in the list. Rich purple silk shirt, is that the one? I think I sold one of those recipes not so long ago. Wow thing for the win. Yeah. Trying to figure out where the cheapest place to get your recipes and stuff from. It's good, that one. Your next smart move after finding out where it is cheap is making a TSM email notification for when it appears cheap somewhere. Finally finished a Farewell to Arms achievement. That was a ride, but it's done now. Oh no, that's the... Is that the BFA meta? Is that the BFA meta? Fair play. Fair play. I don't even want to consider how much I still have to do of that, to be honest. And if you've only just finished it, and I know you're relatively organised with this shit, I am not. I hack my way through this game most days. Uh, 50 points to spend wherever necessary, whenever necessary. Not that anything really is necessary yet. What did I work out I need for inscription? More than I care to imagine. 30, 60, 90, 120, plus this fucking tree. That's another 120. I am so far behind with inscription. That is outrageous. Outrageous. Let's not look at that ever again. Tailoring. We've got... Are we on the home stretch with tailoring? Maxed. Yeah. 20, 40, 60, 80. We got 23. Okay. Oh, it needed 6 weeks to get all the island expeditions. Oh. Well, I wonder if some of that sort of stuff I might already have done. I definitely did my fair share of island expeditions back in the day. Then again, did I do them at high level or did I do them on mythic or whatever's probably needed? I don't know. People still farm in island expeditions, by the way. I mean, I guess people are, because I keep occasionally snagging some island expedition mogs. But there must be some people out there farming them. Correct mob types for specific quests. Ah, okay, that's probably the thing that will slow me down as well if I try and do that. White, probably.
Ancestors watch over you.
I can't believe it's Monday and I'm only just picking up the weekly patron ordering quest as well. Big slack. Island expeditions, good money. The mogs from there have just always been interesting, which with it also then being completely RNG, you know, almost impossible to target farm anything. I can see why some of them hold their value. Still haven't got the other accounts open. Yeah, good. Back to them in a minute. Spent all my coins for my characters to get 3 plundered swords that sold for 80k each. What are they? The doubloons or something, aren't they? To get the, Wait, why do I not have materials for this one? Maybe I forgot to buy something. The, I wonder if there's any of the mounts I still need from there as well. I remember back in the day, people were running island expeditions like all day long just to get the mounts. I actually genuinely think the people that did that probably made bank on all the transmog at the same time. Kind of a nice way to farm up a mount whilst also simultaneously making some cash monies. Oh, there's definitely materials I forgot to buy. What material did I forget to buy? What am I missing? Echoing flux.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable. My thanks for your patronage.
Right, that's blacksmithing done. Oh, we need to go hand in the quest, actually. Do that before we forget. That's literally 50% of the points.
The winds guide you.
Oh no, stop burning all of my Valor Stones to make sparks. Flipping hell. I think I've got the Albatross mount. That means I must have done at least a good amount of, because I call it the student mount. So I must have done a good amount of, island expeditions. What are we doing here then? 10, 20, 30, 40 needed to fill out all of those, and then it's just armor smithing to go. Once again, I'm never going to finish blacksmithing, am I? I don't even think I finished Dragon Isles blacksmithing. No, I didn't. Although I got further. I got on the home stretch. I'm 10, 20, 32 points away from finishing Dragon Isles blacksmithing. Kazalgar blacksmithing, though, I am 50, 100, 150, 200, 225. Oh my god, I'm like 250 points away still. That's 250 points to still need at this point. That's never happening, is it? That's just never happening. Shit. You finish off Brewfest? In 12 minutes, I need to go do the event one last time. And then that's Brewfest done. I need the Brewer's Blue Shoulder Cape, that's it. Which I think should be a guaranteed drop when I do the event once more. That's the last thing I need from Brewfest. Okay. While I'm doing this, maybe quickly check auctions. Before we go kill some rares and try and find some more deals. Log in. Oh, actually, thinking about this, I need to do a bunch of prospecting. So you need to log in. You need to log in. You need to log in. You need to log in.
These rats
Oh, slideshow mode. What happens when you try and load 5 accounts at the same time? Right, you lot need to... You lot need to deposit all of your ore in here for further processing. Actually, these guys aren't really fully finished yet, are they? Doesn't like uneven stacks. I was doing a bunch of thaumaturgy yesterday, but I haven't really finished it. Kind of annoying. But I should get the prospecting done quickly. Oh. Maybe you've done it all already. Maybe I'll finish off this lot. Get them doing some in the background. Summon is better than nothing. Very cool. Are you down? Right. Right, 7 minutes to the event. Need to not miss that. Wow. Okay. No leatherworking orders then. Good start. Wow. Okay. Well, that was easy. Nothing beats having max professions and still 0 profit from even patron orders. Flipping hell. Right, let's get over to Ogrimmar for the event in a few minutes. Curiosity, actually. Say hello to squirrels.
We are united in purpose. Fair skies and strong winds. The skies call to me. In unity, find strength. We have slept long enough. Farewell.
What do we still need to upgrade? The shoulders need 4 of 6. Don't know why they weren't 4 of 6. Not sure. Crafted. 4 of 6. Oh, these champion boots. Oh, these are literally the last thing I need. I need these of 8 of 8. I need 57 runed crests. And then I no longer need runed crests anymore. Hope you get alpha access this time around. Can't wait to have a little bit of a look at the professions. Yeah, you and me both. The reality is even if I don't get it, there'll be people in the community that do. So we'll figure this shit out either way.
Go carefully.
Actually, thinking about it, I think I've done 1 delve this week. I've literally done 1 delve. That needs fixing as well. Right, but the event is on in like 4 minutes. For the very last final thing in Brewfest. My plans for the alpha, whether we get in or not, it will obviously be much easier if I can, but I'm going to use the Discord this time to like document as much as I can. I'm going to make a separate dedicated cluster of channels for the alpha to split the conversation up a little bit if needed. A general chat, but then like one specific for housing, one specific for like professions and whatever. To try and get some notes and get some info down nice and early. And if it's documented, then we can always... and the reason for me using the Discord for this I will obviously keep personal notes myself, but it just basically means for the fact that the same questions, because I've done this a few times now, believe it or not, the same questions end up being asked 500 times, and so if it's documented somewhere, you can just link people to the info each and every time. So I'm planning on using the Discord for that. Seems like a good spot. Get the activity rocking and rolling in the Discord a little bit as well. Might actually do proper content creator kind of stuff and plug it occasionally, and you know. Where's the Brewfest Mountain? What's it called? We got this the other day. Brewfest Bomber. Brewfest Bomber. Here she be. Zoom! One that kind of makes more sense to have steady flying for. Reasonably cool looking mount though. Reasonably cool looking mount. Can't believe Drizzling Rose got it first day, first attempt, off the bat. Right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Are these guys, what are these guys doing? Let's double check what these guys are doing. Right, you finished smushing that storm charge leather. Good. What can you work on next? Let's get you breaking down these things, I guess. You finished as well. Get you working on those, I guess. You're still doing your bit. You finished. Oh, you've like basically got nothing to do now. Cool, okay. Alright, 1 minute. 1 minute. I don't think we need to be too active in the event. I suspect it will still be basically a free win. I'm not even trying to multi-box this to give myself extra chances. I'm pretty sure I should be guaranteed the one item I'm missing. I'm pretty sure these shoulders should be a guaranteed drop. Let me grab a drink real quick. Famous last words. Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a little bit. Triple doggos, look. Triple doggos. Ooh. Triple doggos. 1, 2, and 3. We can just about squeeze 3 puppies in one screen. Apple's bed clearly isn't comfortable enough. Right, is this event a go yet? Here we go.
What do you need? McGraw. Strength.
Oh, there's some shit. Now we AFK for 6 minutes. 6 minutes on that one. 6 minutes on that one. These all finish just as the event finishes. Nice. 9 minutes on the go over here. And 1:20 over here. Have they lost stick privileges? Alma's actually lying on the... Oh. Stick's under Nips's ass. They still have stick. The stick is getting shorter, though. Which is a worry. Means some of the stick is disappearing. Should we actually go do something, maybe? We go and gather some materials. Up we go. Yeah, I'm alone. There's usually a cluster going on over here. No, you lot are dead. Brew thief. I think boosting alts through dungeons will be a thing. It'll be a thing in terms of... Well, yes. But it will not have the same potency that Mop did. I don't believe. There's gonna be some of that going on, but the fact that the level 20 twinks aren't really a thing. Because of the way that gear works in Legion Remix, there's no way for a level 20 to get anywhere near as strong as they used to. Because you can't perma-farm threads and secondary stats and main stat and whatever at level 20. You're only able to get more stamina, but it's not going to increase your DPS. So you're not really going to see level 20s doing their thing. So it will require having, just an absolute Giga Chad main that can then do it, which will mean that there's time and effort that's going to need to go into getting that character to then do the boosting, which will naturally limit a lot of how many people will actually be able to do it. This reason alone, I did sort of consider, what class do I take to like max level, and what character do I level up? Do I actually play my hunter? And I decided that I am going to play my hunter, and if I need to level an alt, I'll level an alt. But I'm going to play my hunter because I don't want to put that much weight on boosting alts, because I don't even know how much of that I would do anyway, even if the opportunity was there, since since I already have a fuckload of characters, right? I don't feel as if I need any more. You can always do more with more, but I don't really feel as if I need too many teams of extra 80s when I've got a bunch. And I also have a way to level characters to 80 myself anyway. I don't need Lemix or a remix to help me on that journey. So we'll see what happens, but it's definitely not going to be as strong of a opportunity this time as it was last time. Because, not that I've double checked this, but I'm pretty sure Mythic Plus is limited to max level characters. Because Mythic Plus dungeons have deterministic gear. I'm pretty sure Mythic Plus is reserved for level 80. I should have really checked that. I can't believe I played Remix on the PTR for that long and didn't even double check. I'm pretty sure you have to be max level before you can do the Mythic Plus anyway. So that's not going to be a way to level alts, because it will be a way to gear alts for the purpose of playing Lemix on different classes, but it won't be a way to like zug a bunch of too many alts up. You'll still have to get them to 80 first, so. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think most people will stick to a minimal amount of characters for Remix. Maybe some that missed out on the mop race to bazillion alts will jump on it, but the rest of us as few as possible. the the incentives are there to level alts on Remix, but yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think many people. I've said this many times, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but I'm concerned that the gameplay loop of Legion Remix just isn't as fun as the gameplay loop of Mop Remix. Meaning that players might not even have the desire to play the game as much to even level an alt. I didn't even level an alt in Miss Pandaria Remix because I looked at it as a maths problem. It was going to take me... It took you 60 hours to level up a character to max item level in Mop Remix. There wasn't any real way to speed that up, particularly for alts. It's going to arguably take longer in Legion Remix, so the chance of me rolling an alt to max gear, probably slim. So... yeah, the whole concept is a little bit open right now to what we do. There we go. There's the blue shoulder cape. Boom! Brewfest, 100%. Smashed it out the park. Smashed it out the park. Right. See you later, Brewfest. You are done for another year. Right, these lot must have nearly finished all of their stuff because they keep stopping. No, why are you not doing your thing properly? Stop stopping. Stop stopping. Started WoW during Mop Remix, level 25 characters for concentration crafting. I want to max out to 70 this time round. My fear is they nerf concentration income after doing so. There's always some use for alts.
Are you just glad to see me?
Always.
Both, I hope.
There's always some use. Pretty much every expansion brings some reason for having more characters to be some sort of advantage. That advantage often changes between expansions, but there's always some reason. Jack, my man, with 31. I know why you still haven't got your alpha invite. The damn TV is off, of course, because it doesn't like streamers with TVs off in the background. True. Big true. That's clearly the problem. Welcome in, my man. Good morning to you. I hope you had a good weekend. Right, is that everything smushed here? Within reason. Smush you. Just min-max the last few mats. Smush you. That's it. Okay, right. Blasphemites. Why do these keep stopping? Oh, well, you've stopped because you ran out of actual stuff to do, which is fine. That's a legitimate reason for stopping. I'll let you off. You're still doing. It's Monday, isn't it? Tuesday, Wednesday, 48-hour listing. Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. Do I post these mats for 48 hours at an inflated price and hope that we have one last weekend of bump on reset? Run the risk of losing a deposit cost on them not actually selling. What do we do here? Oh, I've used McGill Bank thing as well. All right then. Well, let's just sell them. Oh, okay. We sold some Orbinid yesterday. Lost a deposit fee on the lure drop though, unfortunately. That's sad. Nearly 1,000 gold on Blasphemites still. Get these out there. Even Weaver Cloth's coming down now. Even Weaver Cloth's coming down. Oh, damn. Look at some of the walls on this. 202,000. Jesus. Woof. I see. There's a chance this is the last time I bother doing any thaumaturgy. There's a distinct risk of actually losing gold doing this now. Even doing a full process on it. Assume when Lemix comes out, retail prices will crash. It's a good time to buy stuff and sell now whilst you can. Prices have come down a lot already since the patch launch. Yeah, we're over the hill now. I'm convinced of it. Which is why any sort of like thaumaturgy is good when prices are steadily rising, because it gives you a bit of time to do the processing. But when everything is steadily decreasing, you don't have time to do all the processing before prices have gone down and stolen all of your margin, which means it's likely to be a done game for me for a while, potentially this now. Did you see the Preach preview on his interview? I did. And I did. And there were some aspects of it I definitely disagreed with. Good content to talk about on stream. Well, I'm not really in the game of like dissing on another content creator just because. But I do worry that Preach was just preaching what Blizzard said. Now, what Blizzard said felt very PR to me in the first place. Preach parroting it is fine, but I don't think he really paid that much attention to what Blizzard was saying in the first place. Felt very PR. Blizzard's approach, I don't know. It felt like a bit of a cover story. So yeah. Went off to play Final Fantasy 14, dissed on WoW as soon as he came back. Well, to be fair, when Preach left World of Warcraft to go try other things, he wasn't wrong in what he stated. Blizzard was a right flipping mess at the time. Let's not forget, this was the tail end. This was Shadowlands. Shit was all over the place. They were in a real mess. And without question, throughout Dragonflight and The War Within, they have definitely done better. But that doesn't... So, you know... When people change and when products change, opinions can also change. I'm never one of these people that thinks that people can't change their opinion on something, right? It is perfectly viable to not like something, for that thing to then change and for you to then like it again. But yes, I can see where the opinion comes from, that he's just in... It does give the illusion that you're just in their back pocket. And this is why I think just parroting what they say and agreeing with them in an interview is partly an issue of that. But for example, the whole spiel about them wanting to move away from the big hype of expansion launches into more frequent content, like just permanently, is what I feel like is a bit of a PR spin to the fact that Midnight doesn't really have a major selling point, which is hence why they've had to tack housing very aggressively onto Midnight, even though housing has been developed as a completely separate entity that wasn't strictly attached to an expansion, and only in recent months, probably because marketing team and the finance team from up above has said, you need to sell boxes of Midnight, and Midnight doesn't have a unique selling point. How are we going to shift copies of Midnight? And so somebody was like, right, well, we'll tack housing onto it. We'll make people pre-order Midnight in order to get early access to housing, which will sell boxes like you've never seen before. Then Blizzard coming out, both Ian and Maria coming out and saying, well, you know, we're trying to move away from this kind of like big expansion hype, is like, what? What? There's a reason why expansion launches are what expansion launches are. It's the combination of, you know, a feast is not made by the success of one meal. A restaurant doesn't build its reputation off one single dish. Having a feature launch midway through an expansion is great. It keeps there being something new on the horizon, but it doesn't generate the same level of enthusiasm as an expansion launch does, because an expansion launch is the combination of a full reset of everything, right? The reason why everybody is so psyched about expansion launches, and the reason why historically expansion launches have the biggest spike in viewers and the biggest spike in players, is simply because you have 4 new zones to play with in most cases. You have a new leveling path. Your gear gets completely reset. You got brand new professions. It often comes with 8-ish brand new dungeons to play. There's a brand new raid to get ready for and explore. There's usually 3 or 4 new reputations to work towards. There's all the new pets, all the new mounts, all the new collectible. Literally, there is so much content in an expansion launch. There is absolutely always something for everybody, and so it's of no surprise it brings in the largest quantity of people simultaneously. So Blizzard claiming that or Preach trying to say that their movement into WoW 2 is a way to get away from this hype bubble of an expansion launch, but to give us content consistently. It's just PR. It's just PR for the fact that it's all too convenient that Blizzard are starting to push this narrative just as they're getting negative press that the next expansion doesn't have a big unique selling feature. Seems a bit sus to me. Seems a bit sus. It seems like this is their excuse for why Midnight doesn't have a big feature. The excuse why Midnight doesn't have a big feature is because we're trying to deliver content consistently. Yeah. No, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. They'd be stupid to, like, you know, they'd be stupid to move away from the success that they already have from big expansion launches. This is why I believe that they want to be able to do big expansion launches more frequently. Hence moving down to 18 months, and I would not be surprised if they move down to 12 months, because the finances work significantly better for a business on a 12-month cycle. You know, it just feels like a bit of a spinning negative, you know, spinning some negative press recently into a positive by saying, oh yes, but we want to release something, you know, we always want to have something big on the horizon. That's great, but don't do it at the cost of big hype expansion launches. So a fish and chips store does. Well, yeah, fish and chips does kind of rely pretty aggressively on one thing, but stop picking holes in my analogies. Jesus. Start of a new expansion is the one thing they've never missed on. It's historical that the one expansion launch they did nearly fuck up was Warlords of Draenor. And from that very day, they have done absolutely everything in their power to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Which kind of proves my point, right? That Blizzard themselves fully know that they have to get the expansion launch right. And getting the expansion launch right is critical to that expansion's longevity. If they fuck up the expansion, that puts them on the back foot from the word go. If they fuck up the launch, I mean, Warlords of Draenor was basically unplayable for the first week. So it was, they absolutely, definitely need to make sure they don't do that sort of stuff again. I created content live on stream by saying 3 words. You did. Kind of wish I hadn't watched the video now, to be honest. I'm in a position where I feel this, you know, although I have affiliations with Blizzard, I am an official WoW partner, but I still feel I am separated enough from it that I can speak critically and can speak sort of objectively. I don't feel the need to butter them up for any particular reason. And Ian is absolutely so good at, like, towing the company line. That to just flat out regurgitate and agree with everything he says is gonna sometimes leave you looking like a bit of a fool. Because while he's very good at, you know, being political in his answers, you always have to look between the lines a little bit there. Right, what have we got going on over here? Probably need to actually make the Blasphemites soon. Okay, now we start processing those. What have we got going on over here? Why have you stopped again? Do they stop when the potion... Does this automatically stop the crafting when your potion runs out, maybe? Too early, I'm logging in my 300 alts and setting them up for the new expansion, clearing quest logs, banks, bags. Honestly, it's a good time to do it. Like, if you're clearing out your bags and whatever, doing it before everything grinds to like 0. The earlier the better, honestly. No such thing as too early for that, really. One thing I hate about these interviews is that they have to vet the questions first. I'm not necessarily convinced they do vet the questions. And I think I think they don't feel the need to vet the questions because Ian is very good at not saying things he shouldn't say. Right? I think this is where sometimes they have actually and more frustratingly so, right? Because a lot of the interviews are predominantly done with content creators are not incentivized to ask the hard questions, if you know what I mean. Because if you get the opportunity to do an interview with a Blizzard dev, guess what you probably would like to do? Do a good job and get asked to do it again. Like, they may not feel the need to vet the questions, but if you go in too hard or you put them on the spot on something, do you think you're going to get asked back again? Maybe, maybe not. This is almost where I think that interviews with things like PC Gamer and stuff, sort of third party, sort of more neutral outlets often get more juice. Because they, PC Gamer is going to get an interview regardless. For example, a big publication is going to get an interview regardless. Whereas a content creator that's been given their first opportunity to put themselves in the limelight with Blizzard isn't necessarily going to ask the pressing questions. And more importantly, most content creators are not great interview, they're probably not journalistically trained. It's been really fun over the last however long it's been now to see Mr. GM like go from being really stiff, really nervous, doing his first interview sort of thing, to now really finding his feet and being a little bit more comfortable. And it's from that respect, it's been good to see. They're encouraged to send their questions over in advance. But mostly from the mindset of that if the devs roughly know what they're going to be asked, then they can make sure that an answer is, well constructed as well. It does work two ways. It's not just so that they can say, no, you can't say that. No, you can't ask that. I'm sure there is some of it, but right, what have we got here? What do we need to do here? I can sell a bunch of stuff. And then the rest of it needs to be sent off for like prospecting or whatever. In that case, let's get sold the stuff that can be sold. This sort of stuff can be sold. The raw ore is going to get prospected. Bismuth is likely to just be sold. Throw this back out. Some of this is so cheap, it should probably be spun through the mill again. Is the concern here. These people that do bait auctions, I mean, that's not that baity, but it's baity enough to be annoying. Start hunting them down. Right, that lot goes in the guild bank, which is annoyingly on cooldown. Alternatively, it's on cooldown. We'll do it this way. That dude's done. Every time 50% of the questions are the same as the previous time. Well, like I said, I don't, you know, I don't, I think half of the issue is that most of the content creators are like not that well practiced in like structuring or answering good questions. It's not their day job, is it? They're either streamers, they're there to entertain. I know I would be absolutely fucking useless at an interview. Unless I really took the time to like plan ahead and prepare. Now I have the ability to like have a good conversation with people, but I personally would always feel more comfortable being the person interviewed, not the person giving the interview, if that makes sense. It's why I've never really done like a podcasty kind of style thing, because I just know I'm not very good at it. The last thing you want to see is me trying to like fumble along and, you know, it doesn't make sense. You'd totally go off script. I probably would. This is the thing, right? I'd have, you know, this is why I think if I ever did an interview with the devs, I know everybody says this, that, you know, everybody says this of that, oh, they would just like it to be more conversational rather than an interview. I do tend to think that I would probably be better by just riffing off whoever I'm talking to and actually having a discussion. Obviously, you can have some bullet points to rein it back up, you know, bring the cart back on track, but we didn't have a script when we did the podcast together with you or Zan. Yeah, but the concept there with that was that, you know, I was the guest per se. I think there was one time Zan was busy and we did it together, but it's like, it was kind of, I felt significantly more comfortable being the guest with somebody. In that case, it was you, like running the show per se. Being the one to run the show, I don't think I'd be very good at all. Because I absolutely wouldn't keep the cart on track, that's the point. We'd end up in a, you know, off the rails in a bush. I mean, I can't even keep my own stream on track half the time. I think to myself before we start the stream, what are we going to do on stream today? And then I end up doing something completely different. Like, it couldn't be further off the rails half the time.
But do not rush to conclusions.
I do need to do a delve, and I'm going to just pick a random one. Unscripted squirrels. Squirrel hunting with Manthius.
We've got another incursion, and we need some defenders. I know you're good at this.
Right, we need to do a tier 11. Right, let's bang this out. What can go wrong?
No, take Kettle! Bring back snack!
Air totem kit. Air totem kit. Need a couple of these apparently. Is Bran max geared? Is Bran max level yet? Bran do some gathering. Why the hell not? Oh my god. He's like... He's like 1 pixel away from level 100. This is the run then. This is the run. The interviewer always has the most pressure to deliver. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I would do very well with that. Oh, hang on. Let's not pull the entire zone. Let's think about this a little bit. I don't know. Maybe one day. We'll see. Like I said, I always want to be slightly careful with this because I also know that I can't and shouldn't be overly critical of somebody else's ability to do something if I know full well that I couldn't do it myself. Like, it's you know, it's a different thing when you sit in front of the TV and shout at the footballers on the pitch. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But that's just, you know, part of the entertainment value of, like, watching sport or something. Backseat gaming is a similar concept, but I think it's very good that Blizzard does try far more proactively these days to give a fair shout and do these interviews and stuff, because they arguably don't need to. They could do all of their marketing internally or in a very, very controlled fashion. And I think it's probably a it's probably a credit to Ian here more so than anything else, because he is so comfortable being quizzed about the game that Blizzard can also feel that, you know, they can let loose a little bit. You did 4 podcasts with us, 2 as guests, as 2 as hosts. Did I do 4? Wow, okay.
That's more like it.
I'm hunting for piles of treasure apparently, aren't I? I wasn't really paying attention to what I'm doing in here. Oh, okay.
Time to face our fears, champion.
I get killed by Kaiveza like literally every time. Got to look at these things, haven't you? And then they don't. Then they don't kill you. Oh, my pet on the other hand though doesn't have the same looking skills clearly. Oh no, put that back down. Right, treasures, let's go. My brand's 43. Hopefully we'll get Brand to 100 here. He's only 100 due to the fact that I've consistently played Delves most season now. Most of the 3 seasons. I've never not done a few Delves each week, I don't think. But I've never gone out of my way to try and level in particularly. Mine's 46 and I thought max was 60. No, max is 100 for Bran. Is that it? We good? Screw it, the poison can't hurt that much, right, surely? Oh, fuck, I've run backwards. What a dumb. Please ignore. Minus doing a delve today. I only need to do the 1 tier 11 here, really. Well, that's a lie. I need to do at least 2, but I don't think I'll do them now. I'll do 1 today, 1 tomorrow. We'll just do a quick and easy delve a day. A delve a day keeps Bran away. Curious how the new Rogue Lady in Midnight will tank in delves. I don't know. Well, Bran just put a shield on and did it, didn't he? I'm sure he'll be fine. There are usually 3 of them in one of these packs.
Get out of the way!
The song reminds me of darts. Do they use this for the
Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
do they use this for the background music or something in the darts? It's crazy how popular darts has become in the last few years, you know. From just being fat old men drinking beer, it's become quite a spectator sport again, like almost overnight. Cheerful with a 14. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, who's this? Nico from Burning Legion. Get wrecked. Oh, I haven't got any air purifier jobbies. Am I meant to be picking up the old ones? Flipping hell, man. Delves with mechanics. Who needs them? Christ. It's like them taking the water out, the underwater ones. I want my gear to be as free as possible, please, Blizzard. Any effort above 1. It's too much. That's what at least kill you while we're here. We're going that way anyway, aren't we?
Hey, be careful!
Maybe I shouldn't have pulled all of these. Been quite popular in the Netherlands from a few years back when Barney won whatever the contest was called, the Embassy. 180. Well, in the UK, we've got Luke Littler now, haven't we? Who's a bit of a darts prodigy. That's literally the only link to darts I even know of.
That device keeps us safe from the poison. Hold on to
I
it.
always enjoyed throwing darts as a kid. I don't do it all that often anymore. Although we have darts at our summer place. But it's more of, not lawn darts, but it's not the same darts. Michael Van Buren was in the news yesterday. He was in a fight in a kebab shop. Sounds like darts related news. Streaming fails, you can always work at darts competitions. It's not a case of if streaming fails, it's a case of when. I tend to believe streaming is a ticking time bomb. Not a case of if, but when. I saw some clip yesterday that invaded my TikTok feed of Kai Cenat claiming that after his Mathiathon he's retiring from streaming. Like, yeah, sure. You don't make $3 million in a month and then retire. Anyone care to explain the Jawn Crafting crafted mount that was added? Can it be sold on the auction house? Is there any goal making possibilities? Not really. It's bind on pickup, so it's work orders only. The likelihood of getting a work order for that thing ever is slim to none. There was a potential market for about 5 minutes when, the week it came out, but outside of that, not really. Anybody that wants it will just have to make it themselves. Saw an order recently, tip was 10 gold. Yeah, big money in that, right? Big money. Huge! Fraction of a world quest. Fraction of a world quest. Now, I'm not for Blizzard putting, like, a minimum value on these. Because I think that comes with its own issues. But
Give me a moment, champion.
they have to do something to bring it more to a level of sensibility. And the issue is I bet that guy got his mount as well. This is the frustration there. I bet somebody saw it. It was like, oh, well, I'll click 3 buttons. You know, why not? This is the thing. Like, I'm quite sure he still got his mount, and he probably only had to pay a 10 gold tip for it. But that doesn't take away the fact that it's an incredibly frustrating thing to see as a crafter. That you've front-loaded all of the effort to get the recipe to make sure your profession's in order, and then you see somebody that, like, oh yeah, all of that effort is worth absolutely nothing. I'm not going on a work order rant, I promise, but one of my big hopes for Midnight is they address the imbalance of power when it comes to these flipping work orders. Either sack them off and make them more less impactful in general, or do things to ensure that it's a value for crafters to even consider. This tune, though. This tune is one that I used for years to test speaker kits. This is a really good track to weed out shit speakers. Are you checking for new speakers yet? No, I've kind of put spending money on gadgets on hiatus for the simple reason that I don't have any spare money right now. It's kind of I try my best to keep my spending in check. I like to think about these things ahead of time, but I don't get too serious about it until I am actually ready to buy something, because otherwise I will spend money I don't have. That's what credit is for. Yeah, unfortunately mortgage providers tend not to take credit. I did the sensible adulting thing and was like, Christmas is like 3 months away. Christmas is expensive. December's an expensive month. And at the tail end of an expansion, when I'm not producing YouTube content particularly, I probably shouldn't be spending outside my means on new gadgets and gizmos.
You give that!
Didn't carry enough pellet bags. I have a story for you from yesterday. Somebody asked me to craft a sword for them over trade chat. The dude sent over rank 2 mats, then went offline. I crafted it for him, rank 4, left a note that if he wants max quality he needs to send rank 3 mats, and he came back online, dissed me for 3 minutes, threatening to report me for a scam. Wanted to explain to him how crafting works, then he ignored me. An absolute prime example of why I don't bother with work orders. Absolutely no reason for me to find enjoyment in sifting through that one. No reason whatsoever.
Nice. Now I'm making progress.
Hey! Raise brand to level 100. Oh shit, I haven't got any of these. I've had one of these air totems the entire time. Having to flipping move this air totem about. It's a pain in the ass. Next song. Not like this one, chat. Not like this one.
That device keeps us safe from the poison. Hold on to it.
Would have declined the order and asked him to resend if he really wanted rank 4. I don't want my name on rank 4 stuff. See, this is it, right? This is like what we were talking about a little bit the other day. On a work order, neither the crafter nor the person looking to get the piece of gear crafted has any reason to care about the other person on the end of the screen. None whatsoever. So in that scenario, you have no reason to not do the order, but the person buying the thing also has no reason to believe that it can't be done with rank 2 mats. The emphasis there is entirely on Blizzard to improve the system so that scenario doesn't happen. You know, there is nothing to say that Blizzard couldn't put a splash screen or a pop-up or something to indicate that by using lower quality materials, you are unlikely to get the max, you know. And if they were really clever about this system, if they'd actually designed it and done it properly, they could link, because it's not random anymore. In Dragonflight, because of inspiration, the outcome was random. This time it's not random. I'm sure it's within Blizzard's means to develop something if they really insist on the buyer providing half of the materials. Why can't a system be created to where the buyer then knows what the outcome of the craft is going to be by providing certain materials? Why doesn't it link the crafter's ability to the order? Because you have to specify the crafter. Why, you know, all of this, I know that all of that sounds particularly complicated, and it probably is, and it's probably why they haven't done it. But it also leads me back to the original of that I don't think the buyer should be providing the materials. Doesn't make sense to me. But yes, I'm not going on a work order round. I'm just saying the system's bad. Big chunk of experience. I don't need this anymore. Take the crests, though. The hell? Bind on pickup 684 champion gear. Okay. A two-handed polearm. Thanks, Blizzard. Love that. Love that. There's the Gilded. That's really the reason we were here, for the 7 Gilded. You sell nothing that's interesting. My work here is done. My work here is done. Good luck in the Midnight Alpha this week, sir. You deserve it. Wow, let's hope I get it first. I appreciate it. Welcome in. Let's hope we get access to it. I don't know how I'm going to show you this without moving and disturbing the status quo. One upside down dog. And another puppy. Nipsu does, even though she's 8 years old, she still enjoys sleeping on her back. Curled up in a ball somewhere. And then this one flops out of bed. Always doing the flops. You do a night stream if you get the alpha. Yeah, alpha is... It launches on Thursday, doesn't it? But it's not going to launch till Thursday night. So either I stream on Thursday evening, or we just do our normal thing on Friday. I'm going to be brutally honest. Evenings are difficult to stream at the moment because of puppy reasons. The puppy's schedule is that she is relatively chill and asleep now. In the evening, she is far from chill. From the hours of 7 to about 9, she has crazy zoomies most evening. Even after she's been fed and walked and all of that sort of business. So, it's not too straightforward to actually do evening streams at the moment. Not even wife aggro, it's dog aggro.
I understand your frustration, Gaora, but do not
okay, I need to do a bunch of prospecting, but I'll do a bunch of prospecting not now. Can I get the last final little snippets of stuff sorted from these? We need a goal-making alpha streamer. You have a responsibility. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to put him on the spot here, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see Zan make a return for an odd stream, possibly, maybe. He's likely to get alpha access. But it's up for 5 weeks. We'll have plenty of time. We're gonna have to balance things with remix as well anyway. And I've already sort of stated this, but interestingly, like getting ahead of stuff during the alpha might mean I actually have to spend more time off stream, like quote unquote actually working, actually figuring stuff out. I can do a lot of stuff on stream, but I'm 50% efficient when I am on stream. Which, if there is stuff that just needs doing, sometimes the better option is to not stream it and we just get it done, and then we can talk about it after it's done. But I mentioned this earlier. I'm probably going to use the Discord to collate a lot of information, so then it's like just easily available and accessible to people whenever they need it. Obviously, we can talk about shit all day long on stream, but I'm only live for a few hours a day. Plus, I suspect a lot of the questions will be the exact same question. So if I collate info in the Discord, it's as simple as join the Discord, check it out yourself sort of thing. Two birds with one stone. It spears some life into the Discord again in the run up to the new expansion. And yeah, hopefully gets everybody educated as much as they need or want. I got that pet so much. These flipping writhing transmutagens, yeah. The irony is I do sell them. The funny thing is they're like, I've syndicated a few of these around, and they do actually get sold, believe it or not. But yes, if you do thaumaturgy, you end up with thousands of the damn things. The problem is you are never going to sell more than a couple of them. So yeah, just deleting them is literally the best play. As annoying as that sounds. Right, that looks to be everything processed. Let's make the blasphemites. And then you're ready to sell stuff. Where are you at? Let's see where you're at. Oh my god, you got fuckloads of storm charge leather. Don't need any of that. Get rid of that. Sack that off. Oh shit, you logged out. Oh, you've got nothing to do anyway. Personal preference, I like your approach of things like goal making professions over other goal making streamers. I mean, I'll take that as a compliment. I appreciate that. Getting different viewpoints and opinions is a smart play though. I try my best these days not to base all of my info on just one source. The irony is that goal making specific content, profession and economy content is I don't know, it's I wouldn't say it's a dying art, but it's the same thing is happening as I've seen throughout all of WoW's history. It's very, 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 very difficult to do it for a continued amount of time. Over the 20 years of World of Warcraft, there's probably been 15, 20 different, relatively well-established goal-making content creators. There's usually a bit of a lifespan to it, honestly. It's hard to do it for a long time. For the simple reason of that as soon as you stop playing the game, as soon as you stop enjoying the game, why the hell would you bother doing it? It's not really of any surprise. Right, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. Give me 2 seconds, boys and girls. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, alrighty. I'm desperately trying to get the rest of this thaumaturgy finished. I think we're basically there. Yeah, this looks mostly like it's ready to just sell. Minus a few bits of ore that needs to be put in the guild bank or whatever. For prospecting. Rest of it can just be sold. Really think I need the gems particularly, but I'll do something with them. This lot shifted. Tell you what, the crashing price of leather in the last... Leather's literally 50% of the price as it was just 2 weeks ago. Crash is impressive. Okay, you're done. Log you out. You finished? You've still got a few bits to tinker with. Those broken down. How will you proficiently juggle Fellowship with Remix and Alpha? Please don't burn out before the actual expansion comes out. Fellowship. I've seen others playing that. I'm not sure I'm going to go anywhere near it, if I'm honest. Simply on the basis of that I definitely don't need anything more going on right now. I'm going to have to carefully contend with the fact that Battlefield 6 looks really goddamn good. That's my first worry. With everything I know from Legion Remix, from testing it on a bunch on the PTR, I already have concerns that I might find it very difficult to not go play some Battlefield when that comes out. I do worry that their necessity to phase remix will be a big issue for me personally. It might not be, like I said, it might not necessarily be a problem to many players, but my playstyle, it's going to get in the way of pretty aggressively. As my intentions were to absolutely smash the pants off Legion Remix, for as long as I have the ability to do so, and for as long as it's still fun, and get as much of it done as I can in a short period of time. I really, really, really do not want to be dipping in and out of it on a weekly basis. Because I just know how my playstyle works. When I play something, I want to play it. And when I want to then finish it and say I'm done and put it down, I put it down. And the likelihood of me coming back to it is always very slim. Borderlands 4 is falling into that category for me right now. I was having an absolute blast with Borderlands 4, but I put it down for 2 days, and I'm finding it harder and harder to boot it back up now because the dopamine kick's worn off, you know. But never again satisfactory. No, well, there are some games that supersede that. If they're games that have replayability. This is why I played Factorio 10 times, because it had fantastic replayability. I've already done 2 full playthroughs of Satisfactory, so... Foundry is another one I'd like to have another go at, to be honest, as well. There's a few... If the game has replayability, it will grab me back in. Diablo 3, not 4, but Diablo 3, for example, brought me back in every 6 months to have a blast with, but I'd blast it for a week and then put it down again for another 6 months, and that's how I played Diablo 3. And I was more than happy doing that. This was the thing. I played it as much as I wanted to, when I wanted to. Then once I'd had enough, I'd put it down and I'd go back and I'd play it when I was ready again. It's why I'm so adamantly against most forms of unnecessary time gating in games. Because I think it creates a habit and it catches addicts, but I do genuinely wonder just how many people they piss off with it as well. Heroes of Might and Magic is also coming out this year. Super hyped for that. It's been a good year. It's been a good year for games, I think, in general. It's been some good stuff this year. Not all of it did I get to see firsthand, but it's been a pretty good year for games. Right, you, the last one that is doing anything serious, yeah. Question is do I go do some sniping and some rare killing next? Or do we mess around with finishing off some low-level professions? I need to do my Serpent Hearts daily cooldown. Oh. No, wait, I don't need to do this anymore. Got the recipe. Undo that. Don't need to do that anymore. I need to go to my garrison, though. I need to go to my garrison because I need more talidite crystals. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crafting recipes I'm missing from Warlords of Draenor Junk crafting. And I need more talidite crystals. Then I go to Tanan Jungle and pray that upon crafting one it teaches me the recipe. Or something along those lines. Do I have a garrison Hearthstone? I think I set up a bunch of work orders going. I need, what do I need? Black rock ore, I think it is. 12 talidite crystals overnight. Oh, Jesus. Is there no way to speed these up?
Business have you?
Is there no way to make these faster? I need a bunch of black rock ore.
Hold
Let me
your
just
head
buy a stack of black rock ore. Five each, a bunch of... Let's just buy a stack of it.
Yes. Shorel Aran.
76. How long is it going to take to make 100 talidite crystals? Flipping ages, right? Getting those immaculate gem recipes took a while. I was lucky I'd done Brawler's Guild during WoD on my Dawn Crafter, so I had the one that's now unobtainable. That's the mastery one, right? I think it's this one. I definitely did the Brawler's Guild. But I don't think the vendors are there anymore, are they? So this one might actually live in the land of unobtainable for me. Because I don't think I got... I think I've looked at this before. I'm pretty sure this is the last final one that I need the I don't know, the recipe to unlock in the Tanan Jungle vendor or whatever it was. So I think this one is unobtainable, but with enough talidite crystals I can craft these and hopefully get them. But it's going to be a slow burn. I just need to come and do work orders every couple of days apparently. Because it's those recipes and the elemental lariat. The only Dawn crafting recipes I'm missing. Missing a few more leatherworking ones, but nothing overly serious I don't think with leatherworking. 100% Kazangar, 100% Dragon Isles, 100% Shadowlands, BFA, Legion, Draenor, Pandaria, Cataclysm, Northrend. 4 recipes for Outland leatherworking. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recipes in Classic. 9 outstanding recipes for leatherworking. You have a jewel crafter follower working on the building. It should double the amount that you get. Oh, that's a point. I have absolutely no idea. If I do, it's from way back in the day. But I definitely haven't checked that ever. Maybe I should. I'm not in my garrison anymore. When we I'll check that tomorrow. That's tomorrow's job. Getting back to the garrison right now is a faff.
I understand your frustration, Gaora, but do not rush to conclusions.
Annoyingly, I have 80 of these randomly on my mage, who's never had jewel crafting. So why I had the jewel crafting hut there, I have no idea. Okay. Okay. I don't think I really need to do much on this dude. I want to get, believe it or not, still Legion, Engineering, and Alchemy done. Believe it or not. I vaguely remember I was doing some silly business in a dungeon the other day and it annoyed the crap out of me because I kept doing it wrong. I had to go back a step and undo my dumb. I feel bad I haven't got these dudes doing anything. You're actually at the point where you just sell shit now. So let's put things on the auction house. It's a big jump. Okay. He's done. These guys just aren't going to do anything right now. Unless I get them doing some jewel crafting. Let's get them doing some prospecting. It shouldn't take long. Man in South Korea arrested after making nearly 60,000 false police calls in 2 years. That's 82 a day. The hell? 82 a day. Well, let's look at it this way. 82 a day, that's like 4 an hour if he doesn't sleep. 60,000 false police calls in 2 years is the equivalent of making a false police call every 5 minutes of every day for 2 years. That means he did nothing but ring police stations for 2... What? The hell? World's gone mad. World's gone absolutely bananas. Luckily, I don't need to be anywhere specific to do prospecting, do I? I can chill here and do it. Spread it out a little bit. Oh, you're chilling over here. Okay. Give them an equal number-ish. I should have put all of the Iron Claw on one dude instead. Okay. Go. I mean, I really don't need 4 accounts doing this simultaneously, but assets there, as they're there. Go, go, gadget, go. How long's that taking? Half hour? Half hour without any Weaver buffs or potions or anything? That's fine. Right. So... Legion Alchemy. Arguably, I can... Oh, no, I can't craft these because these are Blood of Sargeras. Arguably, I can just craft these all the way to max. I've got rank 3 healing potion, which actually means I should just cheese this all the way to 100 and have done with it. Now, that isn't going to help me collect all of the rest of the recipes and whatever, but I probably don't need that. Let's just buy a bunch of Cerulean seeds. Or somebody else comes along and sees what I'm doing. Or each, 1,000 of them is 250. Do that. I don't care. I'm pretty sure this goes all the way to 100. What would you like to see them introduce profession-wise next expansion? Not a huge amount, really. Adding, like... I would like to see changes rather than additions. Since I genuinely think that they're in professions are actually, believe it or not, in a good place. It's just the economy around them that makes it a little bit you know, could do with some polish. Is this going to be green all the way to skill 100 now? Ouch. Five ranks on mats. It's yeah, that is something that's going to be interesting. What they do with the the quality. I don't think it's much of a secret that they're going to be toning that back. How they do it and to what degree is going to be interesting, but 70 to 100. Whilst crafting the rank 2 flasks, you can discover rank 3 versions of that flask. The rank 3 flask is orange all the way up to 100, so if you're lucky enough, you'll have to craft a lot fewer flasks. Discovering a rank 3 flask is entirely luck. Great. So that's why I was leveling, because apparently these potions might not get me there. I need a flask recipe. I need a flask recipe, and then I need a rank 3 flask recipe. Okay, we need to go to Dalaran. Dalaran Hearthstone, please. I think that's the right Dalaran. Bring back no ranks. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna balance it and how they're gonna wiggle things. Since you got to ask yourself the question: is no ranks going to actually improve or worsen the situation? Like, no ranks on stuff. On end, like there being 5 ranks of end result armor and weapons and stuff, I think is just over the top. They could definitely tone that back by a bit. But I tend to think materials still need to have ranks. And I actually think that 3 ranks is fine for materials. Yes, they could shave it down to 2, where you, in essence, have the material and then a better version of that material. And if you use the better versions of all of the materials, you guarantee the better version of the crafted item. You could simplify it in that regard, whereas having 3 ranks of materials, 0, 25% and 40% skill bonuses, then the output being, you know, yeah, it could definitely be simplified. I don't think we need to go back to a scenario where there is only one quality of everything, though. Because I can absolutely guarantee that, like, if you think there's no money in crafting now, there will be absolutely negative money on everything if there's no ranks. Honestly, there being rank 2 and rank 3 is the only reason that there is some profit to be had places right now. Because let's not forget, concentration disappears completely if you have... Concentration only needs to exist because of the different ranks of end result crafted item. No ranks on materials, and the only way to make max gear is to use concentration. I don't totally agree with that. No ranks on materials. No ranks on materials injects the problem that it simplifies it from a gathering perspective. It simplifies gathering, puts gathering back in a position where it's just a quantity game. You know, you then don't care about deftness, finesse. You nuke all of the value from crafting, gathering. Sorry, you nuke all of that down to 0 by having no ranks and materials, which greatly reduces the complexity of gathering. Although I'm not really convinced that gathering is overly complicated in the first place, considering you can just technically grind it out, and always could. Your spec only mattered for the first month. Only making max gear with concentration, in essence, doesn't fix anything other than to eliminate any viability for any profit anywhere. Because there'll always be somebody with concentration, and the value of concentration will go to 0, or like, once again, you'll have a bumper first month, and then it'll just be an absolute nothing burger for the rest of the expansion. This is why, like I said, I don't really think that the inherent problems with... If we assume that the problem is that it's incredibly difficult to make gold with the crafting professions right now, that there is very little added value to you spending time leveling them up, because even once you do, there's basically no guarantee that there's any return in doing so. If you assume that the problem is that they don't make much gold right now, reducing what we have within the professions right now isn't going to push that problem further. It's only going to make it even more difficult. You need that level of complexity for there to be the ability to stand out. The inherent problem, more so than anything, is that everybody posts all of the anything that's worth crafting gets put on the region-wide auction house, which inevitably is going to squeeze margins the tightest they possibly can be. And everything that doesn't go on the region-wide auction house is restricted exclusively to work orders. So you're basically then working for tips. They're your two options. 0 margin, cancel scanning, fighting on the region-wide auction house, or fighting for tips. Like, one improvement, I think, toning down the qualities of ranks from 5 down to 3 makes sense for me. On gear, you could even squeeze it as far as down to 2. You could just have the default crafted item and then the better one. If you make it so the better one is quite simply just more expensive, e.g. uses the better quality materials and all of that sort of stuff, but still make it craftable ahead of time and sellable. Dare I say, go back to base items for crafting purposes. Base craft items that players can then buy, and can attach their missives to, and can attach their sparks to themselves personally, much like you enchant a piece of gear. You would buy a missive and you would use it on your base item. You would, even if, you know, cut the crafter out of the conclusion completely in regards to construction, at the end of the day, allow the crafters to make the items. Very much like Shadowlands, but just an improvement from Shadowlands. The fact that we have the work order system, it can still sit there and be used as a scenario where somebody can come along and request, I want this exact item, but the two systems should sit side by side. I don't like the fact that the work order system completely replaces the auction house. The work order system should supplement the auction house. That way you would find that there is still some room to move on a lot of things. And there's the likelihood then that posting things on localized auction houses, base items on localized auction houses, at least provides some value to some people, maybe. But yeah, the whole process is difficult, but I tend to believe a lot of the problems are the fingers are pointed at the crafting system of why things feel wrong. But actually, I tend to think that most of the issues revolve around the restriction of where you can sell things and how trade has to be conducted. That was less... Oh, God. I do need to do the quests, don't I? That was less restrictive. I think the economy would be better for it. Oh, I do need to still continue doing the quest line, don't I? You're going to give me a quest. Oh, wait. Complete. What's this one? Demon's Bile. Craft a Scargle drink, then go to the Vault of the Wardens. Oh yeah, I did this wrong last time, didn't I?
Victory for Sylvanas. I'm listening. Our time will come.
I can just buy these. Alpha turns up on Thursday. Yeah, about roughly 3 days. By 2, because I'm destined to fuck this up. Where was Vault of the Wardens? Azuna. I half did this the other day, but I completely messed up the order. Of course, that's the thing. I just one-shot the boss, and apparently one-shotting the boss is, doesn't work. You gotta let the boss hit you or something. Could increase stack sizes, but not increase mats needed to actually craft. Yeah, because I mean they've tried a few different things historically, haven't they? I mean they tried ranks of recipes in Legion where we are right now, and that was great, but it kind of had its problems that the same scenario happened. This is always going to be the issue. This is always going to be the issue, that unless there is some restriction to how many items people can craft, it is an eventuality that the path of least resistance will be the only path that even potentially offers profit. So like in Legion, when we had different ranks of recipes, it got to the point that unless you had the rank 3 recipe, you didn't profit. And so you had that you were either ahead of the game or you had a very expensive catch-up, which was the Legion problem with ranks, because ranks reducing the amount of materials needed quite simply reduced your crafting cost. And if a rank 3 recipe, you know, if rank 2 recipe cost you 150 gold to make an item, but the rank 3 recipe then only cost 100 gold, you could craft them at 100 gold and hold the price at 140 gold, and people with rank 2 couldn't compete with you, but you would still make 40 gold profit. And eventually there was so many people crafting with the rank 3 recipe that 40 gold, 140 became 130, and eventually it ended up being 101 gold. Or 106 because of auction house fees. But so even the rank system is problematic. The only way to really solve this is with some limitation to how many things people can craft, and that's where I think concentration is the ticket to success here. So this is where I kind of do think that Boofy's onto something, in terms of that you should maybe have to use concentration to make something at the very top quality. because that puts the restriction on players to not being able to mass produce it. Now, this does mean at the very beginning, everything of top quality is ludicrously expensive compared to the stuff that can be mass produced. Then it's obviously a value proposition to whether people are happy with not the best. Now, this is always pushed back on by anybody that's not a crafter, which is a problem. But yes, I do think that there needs to be some restrict, because otherwise, the way that we have a system right now, if you can max craft something at top quality, you only need one person across the entire region to get that recipe, and they can theoretically, as long as they have access to the materials, sit there producing it all day long. And this is why margins are so skinny, margins are so tight. Because there's no restrict. Once you have the only barrier to entry, and there is more barriers to entry these days than there ever was. Back in the day where it was literally as simple as once you've got the recipe, you can produce as many of them as you ever possibly could want. That was no restriction whatsoever. But you were selling in smaller markets back then. That was before we had the region-wide auction house. That system would just never work today. This is why we kind of need complexity in it to separate, well, to separate the men from the boys, you know? But there needs to be like mini resets on that, and I think this is where they need to do more seasonally with the professions.
Crimes? Our crime was to sacrifice everything to save this world.
Which they haven't done for 2 expansions now, really, and it's,
You
know, proven problematic.
And then you imprisoned us.
We protect life, often at great risk.
But, you know, I spend way too much time thinking about this sort of stuff, and I can't really come up with a solution that I feel would actually genuinely fix things properly. There's pros and cons to every scenario.
My soul,
which is why why I'm not surprised that Blizzard themselves even don't necessarily get it quote unquote right.
I live to serve my people, my goddess, expecting neither personal gain nor glory. Can you say the same? As you stand there intoxicated with the power of the Legion.
Solves the buyer's market dilemma. They just need to make orders region-wide.
The exiled and the
orders are never going to be of any value to anybody for as long as they make the buyer do all of the hard work. Crafters are never going to, feasibly, crafters are never going to make a
Your intervention saved my life.
reasonable, you know, if orders go region-wide, you can absolutely guarantee it will be 1 gold tips within second. This is probably the reason why they haven't made orders region-wide yet. We have guild orders, which are sort of, you know, fake region-wide. If you're part of a guild, because guilds are region-wide, guild orders are region-wide in that regard. But you're never going to see orders more than 1 gold, because there will always be somebody out there that can craft it. And because they can, they will. If there's a benefit to the crafter to press the button, you know, whether they get a first-time craft or whether, you know, maybe they get a knowledge point out of it, or maybe it's for their weekly quest or whatever the case is, a 1 gold tip will still be suffice for somebody. Somebody will press the button. For as long as people provide, for as long as the buyer does all of the hard work, work orders will be worth nothing for the majority of the time.
How terribly disappointing.
So they... Going region-wide on the orders doesn't fix anything, it just exacerbates an already outstanding problem. So they need to dive a bit deeper with that and address the core issue first. Which, my belief is that having the buyer do 90% of the hard work is where the issue lies. There's no room for the crafters to differentiate themselves when the default path of least resistance is provide all rank 3 materials and a 1 gold tip. This dude needs to hit me, right? The irony is that Zygor tells me just to kill her. Submerge the Demon's Breath Crucible in Gumira's Bile. So she needs to cast something on me. I'm going to even dismiss pets so they don't accidentally tag and one-shot it. So is she going to do some bile on the floor or something here? Is it here? Submerge the Demon's Breath Crucible. What? I don't seem to Oh wait, shit, what's going on here? Oh, am I cooked? Remove all pets and items that proc damage. And stand with your back at it until she breathes on you multiple times. Okay, it does say I've done it technically. I'm gonna pew and see what happens from here. Okay. You just had to stand in the breath attack for the quest. I think we're good. Okay. Let's hope that's the case. Kill Cordana Fellsong. Where's Cordana Fellsong? Not on this level. Last boss? Last boss. Summon pets now, I suppose. Nothing wrong with how it was before crafting orders. The issue is more of the landscape has changed since then. That's the thing, right? We have the region-wide auction house now. You cannot you have to take that into consideration when you look at these sorts of things. Putting absolutely everybody within the same arena for both buying materials and selling end products has a dramatic effect on the overall economy, which means the race to the bottom, as it's often referred to, is yet stronger when we have a region-wide auction house. This means there needs to be something in place that counteracts that. Otherwise, the race to the bottom is 106% listings for everything. Which are fine if you're content with fighting over single-digit margins, but most people don't then see any value in playing at that point. Utilizing concentration to restrict how many things people can craft at the top quality, knowing full well that the top quality is the thing that most people will want, is kind of the right direction, but they got to be careful with how they do it, because we've seen scenarios like that before, and people get pissy about it. But at the end of the day, if they make the difference between the best thing and the regularly crafted thing not too dramatic, if the price differential between the best thing and the not so and the average thing is too large, then people just won't pay it. Now, there will be people that will pay it and then they'll complain about paying it, but you know, at the end of the day, some people maybe have to take a little bit of responsibility for what they buy and what they spend. The problem is I don't have to be politically correct about telling people that, well, if you don't want the best thing, if you can't afford the best thing, then you don't get the best thing. Blizzard, on the other hand, are not so... they might have to come out with a slightly more good reason why they're doing that. And their answer is definitely not going to be that we want crafters to actually make some gold. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for sure. Blizzard constantly tries to ruin gold making. I don't know why, but it is what it is. They're not trying to ruin it. The last couple of expansions, they've taken an approach with gold making of that, and this is probably directly based upon Shadowlands, honestly. Their goal is to make it fairer. They don't want people to not be able to make gold. They don't want 5 people to make all the gold. They want to make it so that people have more of a equal opportunity to be able to make gold. And we've seen moves in that sort of direction, such as the whole profession system revamp and the specializations, by design at least, were to allow people who try harder to win more, which in a way is fair. By trying harder, you will win more. Hang on, have we gone back up to the top? I need to be going back down again. I need to go even further. I hate this flipping dungeon. I never know where I'm going. Those who try more should win more often. But then in the War Within, they added concentration as a way to balance the books a little bit, in terms of that if you don't try, you don't actually have to try super duper hard to still make something, because a super duper mega basic setup on a profession next to 0 effort will still allow you to throw some concentration at the problem and make something that's of value still. So a lot of what they've tried to do is not to ruin gold making, but to spread the load out a little bit. They want more people to be able to make a small amount, rather than a handful of people making a big amount. Which, if you're proactive in trying to make gold, does often feel like they're just trying to nerf you personally. But it's not anything personal at the end of the day. It's them just trying to balance things, I believe. That said, them removing things like callings and removing things like the mission table does only have the issue of that that's what an awful lot of people relied on for their sort of standardized basic income in the game. And that without that, they are forced into the category of shit. Now we have to... Now if the bare minimum, even herbing and mining, this is why actually looking at gathering specifically, simplifying gathering again would probably be a smart move. Because gathering is kind of meant to be the thing that people start with, and it's meant to be the thing that doesn't require much effort or expertise. Or should I say the effort required with gathering should just be time spent doing it. That should be effort enough to net you, you know, a sizable amount. Whereas now, the difference between a brand new character that picks up herbalism and mining and also a character that has a fully min-maxed herbalist and miner is dramatic. A fully decked out herb and miner can probably still these days make 25 to 30,000 gold an hour. But an absolutely brand new, fresh out of the blocks herb and miner is going to really struggle to do more than like 5 to 10k an hour. Which is borderline just not worth even thinking about. You could go do 4 world quests and make more gold, you know? So I kind of think that gathering could do with going more simplistic, as it is meant to be that sort of basic entry-level way for players to, like, you know, spend a couple of hours, cover the cost of their raid consumable sort of thing. Nobody needs, you know, Blizzard doesn't need to make it so that people get stupidly mega rich. But what they do need to do is make sure that, you know, I mean, 5,000 gold an hour with a brand new herb and miner is borderline insulting, right? I mean, I can look at my world map
traitor
and
is
I can
defeated.
probably find more than 5,000 gold on my map by just banging out some world quests, and I could do this in fucking whichever expansion I
I will
want.
make my way to the
right?
surface. But you should inform the other wardens. of
Doing
what
world
you've
quests
accomplished
right now, there is...
today. May the night shroud you in shadow, and the moon
hang on,
illuminate your
let's
foes.
go into Azalgar. How much gold is on the map just right now? There's 5,000 gold just sat on the map right now, which you could zoom around in 20 minutes and have the world quests done. Picking up a profession and doing some herbing and mining should realistically net you more than doing just basic bitch world quests. So there's an issue with the gathering that I think some simplification would go a long way. Because gathering kind of feels like a crafting profession in a way these days now. That you can be good and you can be bad at it, depending on your spec and your tools and all of this sort of stuff. That system is great for the crafting professions, where there is meant to be an arc, a difficulty curve. You should be able to make some standard stuff. You have concentration to help you out make some better stuff, whilst you learn how to make the good stuff. That progression, I guess, as you would call it, makes sense in the crafting professions, but we've had gathering be progression based for 2 years now. I don't really think it works. I like when Dragonflight turned around and they made herbing and mining have spec trees and tools and this sort of stuff. I'll admit I was quite for it. I thought because I looked at it from the perspective of that they've added a journey to even gathering, which I thought was good for the characters that just like to go herbing and mining. The problem is the fact that it requires consistent weekly effort just to pick up herbs, as well as the man next to you, realistically is problematic when the type of person that focuses on some basic herbing and mining is not the person that wants to be doing consistent, week on week progression with mining. It doesn't make sense. These players just want to make, quick bit of coin and be on their way sort of thing.
What now? Goodbye.
And there's not really that option anymore. There's no low-hanging fruit for people to, do basic stuff with. Which has meant the meta for this expansion. The low-hanging fruit is leveling up a shitload of alts and then doing concentration. But I still think that's not necessary. The fact that the prerequisite to that is leveling up a shitload of alts, I think is a problem. Because it still, in my opinion, takes it out of the realm of this is a simple, basic, entry-level thing. But we'll see. Alpha's only a few days away. We'll get our first indication of sort of what their aims is with Midnight. Like I said, I don't really think they're going to do much dramatic sweeping changes. I think if they tweak the material ranks a little bit, that might be as much as they really do, honestly. And I think the tweaking of the material ranks might literally just be, right, crafted gear, they're going to shave off the bottom 3 ranks because nobody cares, right? Who in their right mind has ever been happy about a rank 1, 2, or 3 pieces of crafted gear? Nobody ever. People accept quality 4 if they also are not providing the best materials, or if they want the best one, nothing but quality 5's the best. That should be the 2 options. The cheap option, or the best option. They're really the only 2 you need.
The world is your teacher.
That's basically it.
Live for your dreams.
I can't mount up down here, can I? I wish I knew about buying the materials before I came down here. Remove artisan security for people who want recrafts done. Recrafts need to be significant. That's actually a good point. Recrafts could do with being significantly cheaper. And I don't think there's any need for artisan security on them either. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. There's practically no upside to having a limitation there. That made a lot more sense. That made a lot more sense in Dragonflight, where people were fishing for ingenuity procs. That they arguably wouldn't want people to maybe be able to fish an unlimited amount of time until they get the result that they want. But they nuked that for good reasons, I think, because it was dumb in the first place. In the War Within, having predictive crafting or guaranteed outcomes with crafting, needing artisan security to do recrafts is just pointless. I guess the theory there is that they kind of don't want people like re-rolling the stats on their gear or shuffling embellishments about between bosses or something like that. But at the end of the day, if people want to be that sweaty about it, then so be it. You know, you do you. But I do think, because recrafting a piece of gear costs about half the materials than it does to make a brand new one. Minus spark, obviously. If you take just the actual regular materials, I think it needs to be much, much cheaper. Recrafts should be far more of a... There should be almost no downside to recrafting a piece of gear, if you need to. A very, very nominal cost. Something 1 above 3 is absolutely fine. 50% though is too much. And using a limited commodity item as well is also a bit backwards. How the jiffy do we spell this? Create an ancient mana potion. Oh, I have to be at the station to do it. No. Caldori ginger wines.
Feel free to browse.
Ginger wines. And moist fetters. Cheese. Cheese grommet. Silver hair from Khadgar. Drink the potion, talk to Khadgar, collect a hair from Khadgar. Oh, good thing I bought 2 of these earlier. Turns out I need it. I think Khadgar's got many hairs left, has he? Seems a bit brutal. Stealing another one.
There remains much to be done.
Yoink. How are we doing, Spoono, though? Welcome in. Hope you are well. Hope you had a good weekend. I think the thing that a lot of us specifically need to remember about the professions is that our prerogative is to level up the professions and to try and extract gold from them. Now, the only way we extract gold from them is if somebody else spends gold. Our profit is somebody else's loss. The reality is that from Blizzard directly when they create the professions and the materials and the recipes and everything that goes along with it, they're probably not essentially looking at it the exact same way that we are. They do also, and especially since past expansions, they are more so than ever looking at arguably the bigger picture in terms of that they want to make sure that it's not complete. Like, at least I've always thought they don't want to make it completely lopsided. Because they've got to look at it from the perspective of somebody going to buy these items as well. They want to make sure that, you know, quality 1, quality 2, quality 3 are not that far different in price, technically. They also, you know, there's a lot more things that they have to take into consideration. And they're more cautious on this because we've had expansions like Shadowlands where things got a little bit out of control. And it was arguably nobody but their own fault that it got out of control. The reality is there was absolutely no reason why Shadowlands Legendaries should have taken anywhere near the amount of materials that they did take to craft. They could have taken half as many materials, which would have halved the crafting cost, which would have halved the acquisition cost to everybody. All of the complaints by people that Shadowlands Legendaries were too expensive, most of those fingers were pointed most of the time at goblins, at people crafting and selling them. But the underlying fact of the matter was that Blizzard was the one that balanced how many materials that went into these. If a crafter has a base cost of 30,000 gold to make something, they're not going to sell it for 20, are they? Like, they're going to sell it for 35. And so then everybody's saying that I don't want to pay 35,000 gold for my legendaries, far too expensive. Like, why are these crafters, like, these crafters are making so much gold from doing this? Well, you know, it's all a bit relative. Wait, that didn't change anything. The hell?
Light be with you.
Be
careful.
Give me proper map. There we go. Now we can actually get into the Undercity. Just admit, I absolutely fucking hate this zone. A, I can never get into it, and even when I do get into it, the amount of times I die from this lift is unreal. That's if I can even find the damn thing. Where's it gone? Let me in. Oh, Jesus. Well, wait a minute. Right, let's go, whoops, down here. Out this way, maybe? You even a WoW player if you've never been elevated? The true boss of Classic, especially Classic Hardcore, the true boss of Classic Hardcore, elevators. Is it here? Am I ignoring Zygor and going where this tells me to go? Where the map tells me to go? I can't, what? This doesn't feel right. No, we're going into the wrong spot again. How do we... Hardest boss in Serpent Shrine Caverns was also the elevator at the start. Well, who remember? Was it Was it Wailing Caverns? Was it Wailing Caverns where there was the gap that you have to jump over? The amount of people that plop straight down that was hysterical. How such a simple little mechanic caused so many problems. Oh, hello, alchemy. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Who are we talking to? Who are we talking to? You.
What now? Remember, patience, discipline.
Beautiful. Out the Undercity. Is the way we came in? Don't know. Jumping puzzle in Blackfire with them deeps. Always had to have my husband jump me across. I hate jumping puzzles. As a 20-year-old veteran of the game, jumping puzzles are still the bane of my life. Is it up to date with flipping operations for Patreons? My flipping I don't have a public flipping profile. I have a simple current expansion materials and crafts profile, but I don't have a flipping profile. Mostly because my flipping profile alone is just hacked together, honestly. I don't have a smart looking fancy one to share. Flipping's difficult because there's there's nothing really outside of my remit when it comes to flipping stuff either. So actually it's not really possible to make a profile with every item in the game in it. Hence why I don't have a TSM profile for that. That said, it is something I'm trying to figure out how to do neatly. It's more likely to be a case of not so much items, but group composition, if that makes sense. I'm more likely to make a set of generic groups with generic-ish operations attached to those, meaning that if you buy a pet, you put the pet in the pet group and it will sell the pet in a sensible fashion. You buy a piece of transmog, you put it in the transmog group. There's I've been trying to figure out how to do something, but fully loaded, you know, shoppable groups, for example, is because what people really want from a flipping profile is not how to sell the things, it's how to buy the things, isn't it? Because that's 99% of the problem, isn't it? 99% of the problem with flipping is finding the deals. People want to know, what should I buy to flip? And the answer is, well, quite simply, anything that's cheap. The problem with that answer is, though, is to make a TSM profile for that means it needs to contain every item in the game, which isn't feasible. So I could have and kind of like how my TSM is set up for just selling stuff right now, rather than crafting. TSM isn't the powerhouse it used to be for that sort of stuff. Called the base group. Well, yeah, that's kind of true. the base group the base group fundamentally takes into consideration every item in the game. You can slap an operation on the base group, but that has its own problems. It's something that it's so late in the expansion right now. I've not given it much thought, but for the War Within, I plan to be a little bit more organized and a little bit more prepared. I learned a lot. I learned an awful lot at the beginning of the War Within. Which now going into a new expansion with expertise to go with it, I hopefully will be able to do a bit of a more polished solution for people. I hope. We'll see. Can only do my best. Where are we going here? Thunderbluff. Which one's Thunderbluff? Zilithus, Thunderbluff. I mean, this is lofty. This is very lofty. Some of this might take a touch more time, but maybe not necessarily for the launch of the War Within, but certainly within Season 1 of the War Within, I would quite like full TSM groups and operations for various things, for current expansion crafts, for current expansion professions. I think a full TSM profile nice and early is useful to have. Oh wait, hang on, what are we doing here? No, you're not the right Ron. Who are we talking to here? Jaina. A TSM profile to begin with, a fundamental spreadsheet for calculating profits on stuff, but done in a slightly smarter way. What did I say? Whatever I said, I meant midnight. Whatever I said, replace it with midnight. What I want is to be able to make a simplistic spread. Well, I say simplistic, but a spreadsheet to where it allows players to put in their own resourceful and multi-craft. Because simply because it's going to take a while for people to get, min-maxed professions. And that there's nothing to say that there isn't profit to be had before you have min-maxed professions.
Alrighty then.
Where are we going? Why can't I find whoever it is I'm meant to be talking to? But yeah, I would like a spreadsheet to be able to be clever. It requires me to do the clever things with it. What? This is the pet area. This isn't right. Who am I meant to be talking to here? And while I'd never travel to Booty Bay without a lock on my wallet, has proven reliable and fair. I gotta get my ass to Booty Bay. Oh, you're sending me to... You're sending me somewhere. Shit, where's it sending me? To get to Booty Bay quick. Send me to Dead Mines. Oh, there's me not reading the flipping... There we go. Then it's a quick and easy flight down to Booty Bay. I see what's going on there. I see. Tulok has some good stat weight calculations. I'm sure a few people have The thing I need to figure out is multi-craft on a per craft basis. I need to refresh my memory of what multi-craft actually does. The reason I haven't done this so far is because, well, who knows, they might change. I'm hoping they don't, but they might change how it works in Midnight. But as it stands right now, I can create a spreadsheet that allows players to input their own resourcefulness and multi-craft reasonably well. I can simulate basically what the game does. In essence, a bit of a craft sim, but externally.
Yo. Keep it real.
And of course, an update to Goblin Guide to the War Within, which will aptly probably be renamed a Goblin Guide to Midnight. These are my plans for the next couple of months. Let's hope remix and housing doesn't get in the way too much. Oh, Portal to Horrific Visions. It's telling me to do this again. This is another lie.
Gaora, but do not rush to conclusions.
Where are we going? Just give me Dalaran Hearthstone. Oh, it's on cooldown, that's why. How do we get to Dalaran without going to Dalaran? Because this is trying to take me to flipping. This is. Do I just do it? I think Zygor's lost the plot. Because if I go in here, I can't come out. This thinks it can get me to
Stormwind City, a bastion of the Holy Light, now fallen.
Click
to
the
void.
gateway.
A staging ground for Nazar's
Yeah, see this isn't going to take me where Zygor thinks it takes me. Yeah, this takes me back here. It thinks it takes me to like Stormwind. It doesn't. Manthus' mighty midnight model. Got a ring to it. The thing I need to be aware of, though, is I need to be slightly realistic with expectations, especially for pre-launch. There's no chance. Hang on, is that Crystal Song Forest? Is that the right Dalaran or the wrong Dalaran? Oh, I don't know. There's too many Dalarans these days. Can I just go to Azuna? If I go to Azuna, then I can fly to the right Dalaran.
The Burning Legion advances on Azuna. We must thin their ranks to expose the heart of their threat.
TSM side of stuff is probably best saved until the expansion goes live. I can make groups ahead of time, but populating said groups is challenge without the game actually going live. Otherwise you run the risk of getting incorrect IDs for everything, which I've made the mistake of doing before, and then you have to go and fix it, and then you spend the rest of the expansion telling people to use the fixed version. It's a problem. This is why I leave TSM stuff until the game's live. Spreadsheet wise, I need to put my spreadsheet brain on. Or speak to some smarter spreadsheet people.
Hey there.
Potion of Deadly Grace. Oh, oh,
Have a
okay,
good
sure.
one. Good day
Question of
to
old
you.
war. Why don't I just pick up all of the one already known, already known, already known, already known? Pick up the ones that I don't already know. That one. That one. That one. Apparently I can't buy the rest yet.
Safe travels.
Calculations for what? Oh, we were talking spreadsheets. How to go about replicating multi-craft. Resourcefulness is pretty easy because it averages out to be a 30% refund. So that's easy to math and easy to simulate. Multi-craft, on the other hand, you have to do slightly different things for depending on how many items the thing creates in the first place. Yeah, multi-craft isn't easy to do, I know, which is why it's the stumbling block. Because multi-craft has different rules. Right, now we need some herbs. $80 of those. Oh, we need more. Dreamleaf. $80 of those. You can tell me to buy something else next, isn't it? Yep, fox flowers, of course it is. Fox flower, one word? Or two? One word. Uh, 75, because apparently I've already got some. Multicraft isn't easy to do. You need to insert an imaginary number. Yeah, I think because you got, well, what I'd want to do to simulate it properly is do something similar to what Craft Sim does, which is work out the probability of each thing happening individually and then math it out from there. Such as what's the probability? So you've got 4 different outcomes, haven't you, when you press the craft button these days? You've got no procs, proc multi-craft, proc resourcefulness, and proc both. So what you need to do is work out both the chance and the profitability of each of those 4 outcomes, and then you can math out an expected average profit, which is roughly what Craft Sim does. If you can replicate that in a spreadsheet, you then can allow people to change the multi-craft and the resourcefulness numbers in a spreadsheet to generate different results. Why is my Doge standing at the door? The indication she needs to go out. She's awake, which is usually a good indication. It took me 2 months to figure out the maths for doing it correctly. It's not easy at all. There's a database table that I've seen. Can't remember who digged it out. There's a database table somewhere that's got all the values in it for or what. This is how Blizzard does it in the game, or how what crafts use what multiplier for multicraft, and if you can get that table and reference that, you can, yeah. There's an API you can call for the multiplier. Yeah, I'm roughly aware of how Blizzard does it themselves. This is why, like I said, I either need to figure this shit out myself or I need to speak to smarter people who've maybe already done it. But the reality is for Midnight, there's no reason to say they won't change it for Midnight. They changed it between Dragonflight and the War Within, so no reason to say they won't change it again. Which is why I haven't put too much effort into figuring it out yet. Okay, make some potions apparently.
How are you? See you later.
Speak quickly. Trust no one.
Potion of Deadly Grace. Why are we making 10 of these? I don't know. Have faith in Zygor. Yeah, I mean Alpha is later on in the week, so we might start to get a sneak peek into if and what they might have changed. So Thursday officially. Very sexy for a near bald man. What's your secret? Oh, no secret. No secret at all. It's an unhealthy diet and sitting in front of 3 computer screens for 12 hours a day. Same as the rest of us, I bet. Can't be much different. Welcome in. One of the more interesting first-time chats, for sure. Potions of Old War. Oh, we're making these for the quest. That's why we're making them. That was me questioning Zygor. The Aspen diet, yeah. $2 steaks. Unbending potions, I guess, are next. 10 of you. Today we'll have trading post stuff. I don't think they will spoil alpha stuff today. Oh yeah, of course, it's the end of the month, isn't it? We get October's trading post info. Lay torrent potions. It's even more complicated if some of the items even have the same multiplier but a different return in value. Yeah, I know multicraft is going to be the bane of my life figuring it out, but if I can work towards what happens when multicraft procs, if I can even math out, I can math it out within a reasonable, I can math it out to within a reasonable estimation and then just use an integer value as a multiplier. But it requires likely to then have to do that for each individual craft, which is pretty time consuming to do. Which kind of defeats the object, but I'll figure it out. This is after 10k craft. The formula result is close but not perfect. Yeah, it's close, isn't it? It's close. And if there's a huge, whacking, great big... I mean, when you're working with chances of procs, I mean, like, all results are going to be within margin of error, aren't they? It's an estimation at the best, because real life results will always differ. There's no way to definitively prove that,
You need something?
you know,
For the Alliance.
if you do this, you will get that sort of thing. Except Halls of Valor, Blackwell Cold, and More of Souls. Oh my god, I need to do all of these.
See you around. See you later. Have a good one. See you later.
Okay, they're gonna have to wait. This is far too much like hard work at this point. Buy rank 1 flask of the 7th demon. Can I buy these now? Couldn't buy these a minute ago. Aha, now they're available to me. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
See you around.
Maybe 10k crafts is not enough for correct expected value and need a 100k sample size. I won't put too much work into formulas until late in the beta. Well, the reality is once you've honed in on roughly what the options are, a change doesn't mean you... Like, the 10k sample size we're talking about here is just to test that we've got the right numbers. That, like, once you've got the right numbers, if it does change, you just tweak the number slightly. I know the way Craft Sim does this for a long time, and I think Craft Sim still does it, is it just has an integer value for each item. It started off being default for everything until he realized that that just wasn't right. So Craft Sim's worked it out as well. I'll talk to him. We'll figure it out. We'll get a solution. Like I said, all of this is just so that people can put their own multi-craft and resourcefulness into a sheet. The other way of doing it, the way that I think K-Chak is focused on doing it this expansion, is just to say the sheet only works if you have max build. And, you know, the maths is based upon you having a max build. And the maths is based upon, like, that way you have a max build character, you craft 10,000 items, and you just observe what happens. And then you reverse engineer the results to put it in a spreadsheet. And you do that for each item you want to craft in a spreadsheet.
What now?
Which is... It's a more simplistic way of making the sheet, but of course it has the caveat of that you need a max spec character or it works. Which in Season 1 is half the reason why you'd want to use a spreadsheet anyway, because you want to try and calculate whether you're likely to be profitable without being max build. That's kind of the point. 1 flask of the 7th demon. Go. Can't I just craft these? Oh, what I'm trying to do is get the... yeah, we're trying to get the rank 2s and 3s of these, aren't we? Which is why we're going to go kill some raid bosses in a minute. Flask of 10,000 scars. How many realms do I utilize? In the EU, I'm on all of them. It's about 82, 84, maybe. Can't remember. Was doing that too, then I deep dived it, adding the variable of a customized percentage to be ready for midnight. I also used AI to get Excel formulas for it. Yeah, the formula side of things, I'm not too fussed about. It's just the raw maths behind it. Replicating what Blizzard does in the game as closely as possible. Enter the Blackrook Hold on Heroic. Must complete the Heroic version of this dungeon. Where's Blackrook Hold then? Eye of Ajara. Vault of the Wardens. Temple Nightmare, that's a raid. Blackrook Hold. Okay, let's go do that one. The issue I have with this is that the average user isn't really crafting 1,000 or even 3,000 potions, flasks, enchants, braces, chests, etc. Well, yeah, this is it. Like, but there's an element of there comes a point where you just have to give people what they want. You're right. Most people are not crafting on such a scale that they're actually going to get towards mathematical averages a lot of times. So being told in the spreadsheet that crafting something is quote-unquote profitable, you know, there then also needs to be that asterisk of that this maths is only, you know, this maths is based upon you crafting 1,000 of these. If you craft 20 of them, your results may vary wildly. But the point is that doesn't stop people wanting to know. And it's then up to them to craft at a big enough scale to get near the maths. I've always tried to, you know, I've always gone with this mindset of that, much like add-ons, right? Same with Craft Sim. My recommendations for everybody when it came to using Craft Sim was, do you know how it works manually without Craft Sim? And it was those players that were just blindly following what an add-on tells them, and then wondering why they get different results. And I was kind of like, at that point, I was like, yeah, because it's maths, right? You have a 10% chance of something happening. You know, I can roll that dice 100 times. You can also roll the dice 100 times. We might get different outcomes because it's all chance. It's all based on probability. Which is why I'm not overly concerned about it being super duper mega 100% accurate. I just want a big asterisk, you know, this is a, you know, these are estimations. These will be profit values based on estimations, based upon our best understanding of the system. When crafting, you may see, and this is also, again, why I absolutely refuse to chase after 6% profit margins. Because if the mathematical average tells you there's like 6%, 10% profit on something, what is the actual probability of you not only not getting 10% profit, but you getting minus 20% loss, right? That chance is actually disgustingly high when you have proc chances on resourcefulness and multicraft that are so low. Right, let's do this on Heroic then. You can see that in Craft Sim with the advanced log. Yes, you can actually, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Craft Sim, like, when you break it down, Craft Sim is incredibly clever. The fact that he was able to whip that add-on up so goddamn fast at the beginning of the expansion was, you know, was a detriment to his skills. A testament, sorry. Flipping hell, I'm clearly hungry. I can't. Me cannot English. Apparently. What are we doing in here? Click the crate of Saberlight Sulfate. Where even is that? Must be later on in the dungeon somewhere. I have a friend who's been balding since high school. They swear whiskey helps keep them young. You're a big whiskey fanatic. I like whiskey in cocktails. I tend not to particularly like it neat.
Now I see. You aren't the ones who
I definitely
did
wouldn't
this.
call myself a fanatic.
I understand now. You must find Kurtalos.
Let me in.
You must put a stop to this.
Invaders have breached the passage.
The alternative to all of this is I create something that then becomes a tool in which people can use and populate with their own results. Which is another way of making sure that if you don't actually give people the answer, but you give people the tool in which to get the answer, then it's not your fault if they get the wrong answer. If you know what I mean. I've done this, for example, in the past with like prospecting. I've created a tool that allows people to take the sheet, and as long as they input their own prospecting results, it will slowly but surely work out what the prospecting rates that they've seen are. In essence, not too far different to what usually gets done by people when building these tools out in the first place. I don't know. Like I said, ultimately it's only ever meant to be an indication to what you maybe should be doing anyway. Because the maths is only ever at best an estimation. Gonna have to learn the layout of all of these places, aren't I? It's been so long since I've been here properly. Legion Remix is going to turn up and I'm going to be lost. Alright, I guess we can pew you relatively safely. I don't worry too much about the spreadsheet. After all, if you use Craft Sim, it does the same thing. You just manually change the percentage of the multicraft there and you get the same result. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Like, tools arguably are there to aid you in a certain direction. The reality is most people that look for a tool don't want to know how the tool works or how the system works. They just want to be given the answer. All people really want is tell me what to craft that make gold. Right? That's realistically all people want. And I've always tried, and it's a bit of a fine line. Sometimes I don't get it quite right. I've always tried to go the approach of like teach people how the system works so that they can, you know, figure shit out themselves. Otherwise, I wouldn't share any tools or make any spreadsheets or do any guides, and I'd simply just, you know, I'd go the approach of, today I crafted this with Jawn Crafting and I made this gold. And if people want to copy it, then you do you. Is this it? Yes, there we go. But at the same time, I don't really think that's overly useful. Or at least I personally wouldn't find that useful, which is why I think other people might not find it useful. Now, whoop, God, I hate these flipping balls. Nothing worse than getting big balls in your face. Am I right, ladies? Nearly died. Whew. Half the issue is that it's so complicated that even when CraftSim explains how it got to the answer, my eyes just glaze over. Well, that's true. This is why I understand why some people are like, just nuke professions back to the way they were. Because when professions were in a simpler state, they felt as if they could do it. There's a lot of people that... Well, the reality is like we always mention, that he who tries the hardest usually wins. And the reality is when professions are more complicated than they ever were, the person that understands it and the person that does the complicated thing is the one that wins. And then everybody that doesn't do the complicated thing doesn't even get to compete. Which is hence why so many people now look for add-ons and spreadsheets and stuff to do the hard work for them. Back in the day, when you took 2 herbs and 1 vial and you made a potion, your crafting cost was quite simplistically obvious. And it was, you know, this plus this plus this equals what? You know, that was the difficulty curve. That was the maths that was involved in it. That level of simplicity was fine when everybody was playing on their own individual servers, but there's absolutely zero chance that if that same scenario ever graced us again, that there'd be... You could pretty much guarantee for 99% most markets would be held under crafting cost because people would be botting materials.
10,000 years have not been kind.
There'd be such an abundance of botted materials, botted so that they're free. Bots would then just craft items and list them under the mathematical crafting cost of everything on the region-wide, and there'd be literally no profit in anything ever. You either farm your own materials and shoot yourself in the foot,
You must defeat him. We Ravencrests
because farmed it so it's free, clearly.
Souls of my ancestors, to me, aid our champions.
This is why I don't mind them doing some level of simplification to the professions, but they can't go too far. There has, like, with everybody competing in one arena when it comes to buying and selling, there has to be some complexity in the materials, in the professions, in the crafts, to offset the natural downward push that the regional auction house gives. Okay, now off to the Maw of Souls apparently for the next one. Are we not at a point now where technically I could just craft this all the way to 100? I need like 17 points, don't I? I could craft this to 100 and just hope I get the rank 3 recipe. Doing it, I think that's pretty much what the next steps of the guide are going to do anyway. They're just going to get me the rank 2 versions of these other ones, and then I craft a multitude of these until I'm leveled. Is that what we're saying? Do Maw of Souls, collect shit in Maw of Souls. Learn the rank 2 recipe. Do Hall of Valor. Load in. Rank 2 recipe. And in a minute, it's just going to tell me to... Oh, okay, we've got to go do a raid. Congratulations, you completed the alchemy quest line, which will then give me the ability to craft these up until max, I think. Yeah, the only way to get the rank 3 ones of these is just to get lucky. Just get lucky. Whereas I think because I've got rank 3 version of this, we continue to craft these until they go green. Till they go grey. Which, probably 85? 84. I'd really like this to go to 90, but it probably won't. Still 84. 85. There we go. It's gone grey at 85. So the final 20 points has got to come from these. And none of them are worth any more than it costs to vendor them. So it's 250 gold in the bin every time we press a button. And we are hoping to all hell we get a rank 3 recipe. Basically. How do we get out of here? Remember to save the flasks for cauldron ranks. Oh, yeah, because you then need to put the flasks in to craft the cauldrons to try and get the higher ranks of the cauldrons as well. The likelihood is I'm probably not going to shoot for every recipe, every rank sort of shenanigans. Maybe another day, but 100 skill is basically all I'm shooting for with these dudes right now. Just so that whatever gets thrown at us, whatever gets thrown at me, there will be no recipe that cannot be learnt. Is kind of the goal. But I think we're about close to being done for the day. Let's do a few crafts of this, see how it goes. What am I missing? Starlight Rose. Is it then worth maybe possibly because you need 5 of each, and then Blood of Sargeras for the cauldron ranks. Do I actually try? No, because yeah, I need to go get the rank 2 versions of these as well, don't I? Let's grab up some Starlight Rose quickly. Grab some of them. Gamble a few. Go on, give me the rank 3. Give me rank 3. Go. Stream of benefits. Stream of benefits incoming. We're going to get 95 before it goes yellow even. Before it goes green even. Green at 95. 10 ranks to go with it being green. 10 ranks to go with it being green. Right. Well, we'll save that fun for another day. Gonna have to go do a couple more quests to get the rank 2 versions either way. But I'm gonna go get me some food right now, take the doges out for a little bit of a walk whilst the weather still seems to be nice. So yeah, thank you all for joining today, boys and girls. Later on in the week, Thursday, the alpha, if we get access to the alpha at least, probably isn't going to start until the evening because it's all based on NA times. So even if we do get access to the alpha, that probably won't be till Friday that we get the opportunity to have a dig through it. So we've got a couple of days ahead of that to like just chip away at a few bits and bobs. Few days to chip away at a few bits and bobs. Reset day on Wednesday. There's also going to be the developer Q&A for midnight that might be quite interesting to watch. There's some drops kicking off as well in the next couple of days. When do they start? There's a cool little pet you can get. Where is he? Yeah, there's this dude. When does this start? October 1st. There's a Twitch drops kicking off on the 1st of October as well. So I'll do my best to make sure that there's plenty of opportunity for people to get that. But I don't think it's going to be too problematic for people to get it with... if we do get access to the alpha, there's a good chance that I'll be streaming a whole bunch. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm waiting on an email from Blizzard. Keep all fingers and toes crossed. Anyway, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. I hope you had a good weekend. It's Monday. Don't stress too much. Full week ahead. Come stop by later on in the week. I appreciate all the follows, the bits, the subs, anybody that sat through an ad. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you all next time. Peace.